hold on. I don't think we do have systemic oppression. There are no systems explicitly designed to oppress you. However, if you are indeed arguing to create safe spaces exclusively for certain groups of people, excluding me in the process, then that is blindingly obviously your system oppressing me as a system. This is not the right appropriating the left's talking points. It is us using your example to show you how it would violate your own stated principles.
The left doesn't have principles. That's what you don't understand. That's what the right don't understand. The right thinks the left operates on principles because that's how we operate. We operate on rules, logic, and a set of certain principles. The left doesn't have principles, they have groups, and their goal is to advance the interests of those groups via subgroups in the left. So you have the left, leftism, liberalism, and you have a branch of that, which is feminism, and they want to advance the interest of only women above men. And they don't have a principle. Their principle, if there is one, is advancing the subgroups of these oppressed classes, say BLM, LGBTQ, and the members of those subgroups to have more rights than the white straight man, who is the other, who is the oppressor. And their value is these people, these groups of people, they deserve to be above white straight men, have extra rights, have extra power, and the left is focusing on advocating for them. It doesn't matter on the principle, the logic, or the metric of a standard, or the consistency. The only value that they care about is power and advancing the interest of those groups. It does not matter if the advancement of women contradicts what a leftist has said. It doesn't matter if it contradicts their beliefs. If they say, if there is an interest to help black people and it goes against what they say, for example, let's say equality, and they say they care about equality, and they say they care about equal power, equal rights. If there's a thing that advances black people above white people, they will gladly throw away equality as to benefit the group that they value, because the justification is that the group that they are advocating for and giving extra rights to is oppressed, and therefore it's justified to go against the oppressor, and anything they do is justified because something happened 100 years ago or something, which was bad or negative, and therefore this is comeuppance for that, so you deserve to be in the same position they were, because back in the day there was slavery. Essentially, their whole belief system is just, let's get at the white man and let's attack the white man. The reason why the right-wing party is mainly white straight males is because the left isn't for white straight males. They hate white straight males. They hate white people. They hate men. And they want to disadvantage men at every opportunity, because they don't have principles. They have ideas on how to advance certain interest groups that they like. There is no principle that they have. Any principle they have is to convince normal people, average people, to help them in their cause to disadvantage the people they are trying to convince as to advantage the certain groups they want. Like for example, they said they wanted to just give women the right to vote. It went from that to, let's give women complete control over everything. They start with a premise which sounds fair or sounds reasonable, and they keep pushing up and up and up because they want to give these groups more and more and more power. It's not about equality, it's not about values, it's not about principles, it's about advancing their groups. That's it. They don't have a value. They don't have a principle. That's what the right doesn't understand. Feminism isn't a group for equality. The reason why it's called feminism, fem is because it's for women. It's to advance the interest of women above men. It's why when feminists talk about stuff, people will say it's for equality. But why is it called feminism if it's for equal for everyone? And why do feminists always say they hate men? Why do feminists always advocate for one gender and not any other gender? No, that's because feminists are only for women, nothing more. Their belief system is that the society should be a matriarchy where men are slaves or lower class citizens. That's what they believe. And they think that they should have all the power in the world. And here's the funniest thing, is that feminists are completely ridiculous, because if you have a male version of feminism, be it whatever, red pill, MGTOW, or whatever, they'll say that's sexist and mean, and that they hate women, but, they're the exact spitting image of what they accuse. That you cannot have a white version of BLM, because that's the KKK. Essentially, any form of white identitarianism or min identitarianism, groups focusing on advocating for the interest of men above women, that's considered sexist and patriarchal. But you have feminism, and they do the same thing but in reverse, and that's okay. Because again, there isn't principles, there isn't values. The value is power to the selective group and any means to get that outcome. They will gladly cheer you on to murder you and kill you because they don't have a value. Their value is power. They are the barbarians. They are the bloodthirsty barbarians with no values. They only want domination and power. They don't have a value. They're bloodthirsty beasts. They don't have a idea of values. It's too complicated. They only present values as to seem relatable, realistic. There is no values on the left. Any value they say they have, equality, gets thrown out. They say they want equality, equal rights. You never see them advocate for equality. They advocate for supremacy. Every time they talk about an issue, it's always as to advance certain racial groups. Mainly black people, but sometimes it's Latins, sometimes it's natives, or etc. But you never see them advocate for white people. Never. We're in an era where men are having no children, they're having no relationships, they have never slept with anybody, they have low amounts of money, low amounts of resources. White straight men are more broke, more childless, and more sexless than ever before in human history. And these equality people, these people who say they care about equality, cheer it on, because they have an enemy-ally distinction. The women, the black people, and the gays, they see that happening, and they say, good, let them suffer. I want them to suffer. That's not someone who cares about equality and is altruistic. That's somebody who has no values and only wants to see their enemies burn. And here's the thing. The only difference between the KKK and Nazism and Zionism and feminism or BLM is the acceptability of advocating for those groups above other groups. It's socially acceptable to put black people above white people in a political, cultural, or social sense, in terms of having them, if you're on the Titanic, the modern politics would say put the black man on the boat before the white man. And they have that value, but at the same time they say equality. Equality is more of a word to signal to normies. When leftists say equality, they just mean supremacy. there is no difference between like the racial groups that I was saying before, like what KKK, Nazism, BLM. There's no difference between these things. The difference is that it's socially acceptable to advocate blacks above whites, not the reverse, right?